Alright, we are back to enduro racing this weekend in Cross Fork, Pennsylvania. So this is National Enduro. As you guys saw there, we are on road number 27. So starting off test number 2 here. So test number 1 was pretty much all just grass track and not too much of any of the woods. So this is our first one kind of in the woods and stuff, and I was pretty surprised at how hard the trail was to see, like with the ferns kind of growing over and just kind of all the brush over the trail is pretty difficult to see where the trail was going. You had to make sure to pay attention to the arrows, and there wasn't really any getting lost. It was more just like knowing where to turn and just timing everything perfect so you could hit your marks and have good time through everything. So right now, knowing that Pennsylvania is pretty rocky, as you saw there, back end just stepped out on me. That could have been bad, but Pennsylvania is pretty rocky. Knowing that in this section, I was just like, all right, have a good section, stand up, be looking where we need to look, and just get through all the rocks and stuff, and it should end up okay. And then as the day goes on, we can kind of adjust and kind of make notes on what we need to do. But going into this, I wasn't feeling too bad, so we just kind of were able to start pushing a little bit more and more and more kind of throughout the test, and as I got a little bit more comfortable with these slick kind of rolling rocks. That's another thing that was huge, is right there kind of cutting off that corner. There was a lot of that, so had to pay attention to where the good lines were and where you needed to actually stay on the marked trail. So I mean, obviously you can't get off of it too far, but just cutting off those little corners and stuff can add up to be. Another thing also is the dirt. You guys, it may look pretty good, and that's because it rained the day before a little bit and had a little bit of a shower, and so the dirt was pretty much perfect. And then some spots it looked really good, but it was actually pretty slick. So some of the rocks got some moisture on them, and just with the moisture, the tires running over them, and all the dirt on them, it got to be pretty slick in some of the spots, but most of the trail was just about perfect. So you guys may hear my bike not really like revving it out super hard or getting on the throttle real aggressive. And that's just because of the terrain here with the rocks that I've talked about and them being slick and stuff. If you get on the throttle super hard, you're just going to bounce around, no traction, and you're not going to be going anywhere. So it was super important here to just have it nice and smooth and just keeping your momentum through absolutely everything. In some of these spots, I also noticed that like running the gear high and just kind of chugging through some things was the best way to go through it for me, just because I had all that traction. And yeah, it may not be the fastest way to accelerate in good dirt when you have all the traction that you need. But in this situation where there's not too much traction and the rocks are just slick, you just kind of need that grunt of the bike to kind of help you out and get you through that stuff. Alright, out into a field and let the bike open up a little bit and then almost missed the corner going into the woods here. But it was cool also to see kind of how the woods changed from like the open stuff with a lot of the ferns to more of the tight woods and just more of a bare ground. So another spot right there. It took me a second to know where to go, but luckily I was able to kind of find that line through there and not really overshoot that corner too much and just get going back on the trail there. So just like I said earlier, just making sure you're paying attention where the trail, exactly where it goes, and knowing the best way to get there. I would say this enduro probably has some of the best like woods and kind of surrounding area of stuff, like kind of mountainous, and it's got some of this rock, a little bit of good dirt, but a lot of it's covered in that rock. So I think it's a good test for a lot of things. So like right here I was talking about going from the open woods to kind of more the tight stuff. So got a little bit more of those smaller trees, but you have to just wiggle through them, and so it's a good change throughout the day to have all that. And then the first test is grass track, so the variety, as you can see there, just getting up on the front of the bike, hitting some rocks. I wasn't standing up, so it just kind of sent me flying there. Luckily I was able to save it and stay on the trail kinda, but yeah, we were able to get through it, and kind of a good reminder to stay standing up through that rough, rocky stuff. So one thing for me throughout the day that I realized I needed to work on was my line choices and picking up on a lot of those just small little cuts that you can make to shave off second by second, and then just kind of keeping my momentum through absolutely everything. And I feel like I was good at being smooth through everything, but if I just kind of took it to that next level and really kept my good, fast, flowy momentum through it all, then it'd obviously be a faster time. So the smoothness is there, just need to keep a little bit more speed in there, I think. So in this section, obviously pretty tight and wiggly, and then shot the handlebars up into my chest, cracked the GoPro, but unfortunately, kind of the same thing happened to my bike. We were going through some rocks, and it was in the last section of the day, and snagged my chain guide and broke the weld off of my swing arm. So that kind of put it into my day in the sixth test. But other than that, the day went well for the most part. Speed wasn't quite there, but not a bad day. And so obviously in the sixth test kind of ruined the day, but it was a good day. So fun times in Pennsylvania. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.